All right. Here we are, episode 166 of Live Drawing.
166, dear God.
We just keep on rolling. We've been doing a lot of production work lately, so you've seen like coloring and aging and like the whole process of Undersea Hero. We're now at a point where like I don't think it would be at all engaging for someone to be watching me spell check things and things like that. So like we're gonna kind of back off from that for this week. If any of my pals out there want to help me look for spelling mistakes, feel free to let me know, and I'll be happy to send you the draft. And fingers crossed, everything goes well. The digital books will be on their way to backers hopefully next week. So that's where we're at with Undersea Hero. But that's old news. We have new news, and that is that our friend Allison is with us here this week.
That I am. Had a very bad MS day, so I took the day off from gaming to hang out with Ian.
Oh, we're sorry you didn't feel good, but we're happy you're here.
Yeah, well, I'm always with friends.
So you want to tell the good people what you're working on tonight?
I'm working on some Last Sentinel pages. I finished up the main book, and got it all said and done and everything, and I was happy with it for a time. And then I looked at it and go, I hate this thing, and I redid the whole thing from the ground up, plot wise.
Well, hey, hopefully it makes your quality control levels this time.
Yeah, I'm much happier with it now. So,
was it a story that really made you do, or was it the artwork? It was
the art actually more than anything else.
Oh,
the story is mostly the same. I mean, I trimmed out some parts of it and kind of redid things. I made it a bit tighter. I also added in a new character that I've been messing around with that I wanted to have in a story anyway. So.
Oh, okay.
And yeah,
were they not in the book at all before?
No, they weren't. Yeah, they were. They were actually created after I was doing the book.
Oh, okay.
So, I had thoughts about the character for a bit. Sorry, dealing with kitten.
We are a cat friendly show, so we are fine.
No, that's good. No, being known as Fat Cat Funnies, I would hope so.
Yeah. Bruce is out in the other room, so hey Michael, good to see you. We gotta highlight the official opening, as I call it, for the show.
Yes, Michael posts. Then we get Martha Z. So yeah, so that's basically what I'm doing right now. I just kind of redid the whole thing, and I really kind of focused my artwork a lot more. I don't know. I just wasn't pretty happy with the way the art was looking at it. Even with it like colored and everything, where I can kind of hide certain stuff, I'm just like, I'm just not going with it. So,
I've long held the belief that you can't usually save a page with colors, but you can ruin a page with colors.
Oh, you can definitely ruin a page with colors.
Yeah, which I have done. I'm not projecting that onto anybody. I have definitely cooked a page with too much coloring or like too much rendering, and I've really backed off on that as I've gotten older.
Oh yeah, I've definitely ruined pages with color. So I generally try to keep my coloring simple.
Yeah, and I think that one thing that really helped me, it's not just learning the tools or color theory or whatever. It's just planning the coloring from the jump. Like, don't draw your page and then plan the coloring later. And that was something that I definitely was guilty of when I was young. I was
guilty of that.
We're like, it'll figure itself out. It'll be fine. This is one of my little drawing exercises that I do, where I just draw like really simple hands and I try to make them expressive, and I don't do any underdrawing. I just let myself see all the mistakes and stuff and just try to work through it. Because like one of the things of when haven't been drawing for a while, and I don't know if this is true for you, is like I just have to finish something, and then that really, even if it's not the best thing, like I can then work on the next thing, and then that'll get my feet rolling.
Yeah, no, I know exactly how you feel. I usually June is my month of back to basics, where I try to just draw basic stuff, like to work on perspective, work on shapes and design and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Michael says, I noticed that YouTube streams lately last 2 to 3 seconds after the streaming tells the streamer it has ended. I appreciate that tip because as we all remember, there was the one stream probably like, I don't know, a month or so ago where like everything was going wrong. And then I absolutely swore on the stream at the end because I dropped a thing and it fell on the floor and I just went, oh, bleep. And yeah, no, it was bad. It was bad.
it's one of those streams.
It was like I couldn't get it to connect, and then there were all these other issues happening where, like, it was the sound was going in and out. It was
It's not fun.
a rough night.
Just say that you had Jay on.
Yeah. I tend to overthink stuff too when I haven't been drawing as much. So like just trying to pull my brain out of it a little bit just to get it moving. Like you have to think your way through a drawing when you're doing a finished piece, but when you're just sketching, I just try to let it go.
You just kind of let the pencil or pen fall where it may.
And then, after it's down, then you can fix it.
Yep.
Or you can fix the next one, which was another one of those like young artist lessons where it's like sometimes you just have to let that one die its death and then fix the next one.
Oh, that's definitely true.
I was definitely guilty of that.
Yeah, I think one of the other things that really got me thinking about the book a lot was my working with an editor for a bit, and I may be working with them more. So
editors, they have a job, they have a place in comics. It's good to get feedback.
Yeah, manga editors are they're evil, but they know what they're talking about, and it's scary.
Botrix has joined the channel.
Oh, that's my thing.
Oh, that's your thing. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's one of my moderators.
Oh, okay.
I use a bot to help moderate.
I feel like we've definitely moved up in the streaming world. Just usually the bots are here to tell me that they can get cheap subscribers.
Yep. No, then Botrix is free and gets rid of those.
Oh, nice.
I used to use Nightbot, but I always had issues with some of its configuration.
I like the name Nightbot more. I'm not going to lie.
I agree. The name
Nightbot
Nightbot
sounds cooler. Maybe that's because we're old enough for like Knight Rider.
Exactly.
Or on The Simpsons, Nightboat.
Nightboat, yes. God, I forgot about that. It's so good. I am loving this digital pen.
I don't think. Is it just a different type of nib?
Yeah, it's well, I mean, it's the pen I'm using. It's a variation of a G pen. Martha's, we can definitely see your comments. And hello.
Yeah, we might have missed one, but like we got the hello earlier, and we missed you too.
Mm.
And I think I have. I think you sent me. I think I got an email that I have to send to you because I have
yeah, I got an email I have to respond to.
Patrick sent me his email address so he could get your free mini comic.
Mm. But yeah, I think I got the 24-hour-a-day comic from you, and I need to check that out.
I saw it. I didn't read it, but I saw it. The style was cool.
Yeah, no, I looked at it briefly. I need to give it a solid read.
Yep. Hey, Jonathan.
But yeah, the my editor over in Japan is evil.
Well, you said you want to be working with them more, so they can't be that evil.
I definitely want to be working with them more, and it looks like that's probably going to be happening. So
nice.
And The Last Sentinel might become a full-on manga.
Huh?
So, and this the version for the Kickstarter is only going to basically ever be printed once. So, and that's it. The going forward, it's actually going to be drawn right to left. So,
That sounds like a challenge.
yeah, I've been doing it with a lot of stuff lately, though, so I'm kind of getting used to it. Actually, right now, working on this, going left to right, is actually confusing me slightly.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they got me on a schedule and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I literally have, like, almost like a punch sheet of time and stuff like that that I have to account for things. And I told them very straight up, I'm not going to work myself to death, so I'm not doing a weekly.
No, that would be. We don't want you doing that.
No, I
We
couldn't
don't-
do it anyway.
We don't need Allison working themselves to death. That is not a
No.
thing. That is not a
No,
thing this
no.
channel would be endorsing.
No, I'm not going to end up like Kentaro, is it Mora? He's the creator of Berserk. And many others. Now, yeah, this brush is actually, it's a free brush I found. Actually, Mike found it online. It's this guy, he did it. It was called Gnib. It's like free on Gumroad, and I'm just loving it. The nib, basically the G pen for this, because it gives a rough texture that I love.
Nice.
And
Patrick
it's a lot
asks,
easier to use than my actual G pen.
Patrick asks, why are hands so hard to draw? I think it's just because it has all the different. It has that combination of things with biologics, that you have the solid bone, but then you also have like the meat that moves around on it, and like the skin that stretches. So I think that those things make them a little tougher. But it also depends on how much people abstract them. Like I tend to think of them as like interlocking little segments, and I use that, as I've talked about many times, the tubes and cubes method.
Mhm.
And it's like a Loomis method for dummies, kind of.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That, and I think that's how they did in How to Draw Comics the Marvel way.
Yeah, breaking things down simply. I mean, that's just how people have taught drawing forever. And I also think that there's something to be said when you're drawing a hand, that you can draw it. If you draw it too precisely, it looks like it's not moving.
Yeah,
And I noticed, yeah, and I think that it can get stiff really easily. So sometimes, the exaggeration is important. If you look at Toth, the way he drew hands, they were almost like little claws.
Yeah, he did kind of do that, didn't he? And Kirby's hands were like meaty.
Yeah, big meaty squares.
Yeah.
Looking at Gil Kane's hands, like he absolutely used the Bridgman style.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I take a little bit of influence from Milt Kahl.
Yeah.
And if people don't know, he's one of the 7 old men of Disney. Oh, hey, Patrick. And Patrick, I got your letter in the mail. Thank you very much.
Pat, I did see that on the Seattle Mariners, where one person just wailed and it sounded like a ghost. After
So
the game.
good.
I saw that, yeah. But this is just like a simple drill that I'll do, like when I'm trying to knock rust off. I do it with hands, I do it with hair, I do it with faces. I think that just turning things and trying to draw things from different angles and getting your brain moving is a good way to draw things that you can't see, Sure, you can reference your hand if you wanted to take pictures or whatever, but I tend to just draw from my imagination. So I build stuff in that tubes and cubes method, irregardless. So, yeah. Even when I'm doing pages or whatever, that's all similar.
Hmm.
I was actually trying to look back. It's been a lot of episodes since we did any sketching. It was since that Perhapanot sketch cover a while ago.
Oh wow, that has
Yeah.
been a while since you've done sketching.
I mean, I've done sketching off camera, but as far as like during the show, because we've been
Yeah,
going
you've been,
along with Undersea Hero.
you've been heavily working on that project, and that's important. So
It has been a weight on my back for quite a while.
as long as it's not a lodestone.
It'll be like The Simpsons again. We replace the Stone of Shame with the Stone of Victory.
That's very true. There we go. Stone victory for the win.
Today is the anniversary of the Bobo episode of The Simpsons, which is the 64 slices of American cheese gag, where
That
Homer
was so good.
goes down into the kitchen and takes a stack of Kraft singles out of the fridge and says 64 slices of American cheese and proceeds to eat them all.
That's so good. Oh,
And Homer asks, "Have you been up?" Or Marge asks, "Have you been up all night eating cheese?" And he says, "I think I'm blind."
that's so good. I think I gotta pull that eye back a little bit.
I have done a little bit of reading of comics, and I know you're very familiar with my enjoyment of these, but it's the spooky season, so I've been reading spooky Charlton comics.
Oh, classics.
And for people that
Those.
for people that aren't familiar, they're an excellent comic line who started a lot of careers, like John Byrne and Mike Zeck and Don Perlin.
Actually,
Joe
forgot
Staten.
about Mike Zett.
Yeah, and they did a whole bunch of like haunted horror stuff, and like Tom Sutton, I think, did some of his best work there. He did some very Lovecraftian stuff, as you can see. And he did 3 issues that were full length in their horror line, and it's Haunted number 20, which was reprinted later, Dr. Graves 61 and 50, and they're all full length horror stories. And I think they're some of the best stuff that ever come out of Charlton. Midnight Tales was a good one that Wayne Howard, who was a apprentice of Wally Wood.
Huh.
He was the person who got the created by on the cover, and he kind of like ran the show for 18 issues, and it was an anthology, and it had, again, like all the Charlton people like Staten and everybody. Haunted Love, a personal favorite, where it's like gothic horror romance stories.
Those are good. I've read a few of those. I enjoyed those.
Uh,
I just love horror stuff in general, but yeah.
Bob Hall and Bob Layton also got some of their
Ooh,
early work in Charlton.
Signed ones of those, huh?
Yeah, it was funny when I saw Bob at, I think it was Gem City a number of years ago. I took it over to him. He's like, I never actually knew what issue this was in.
That's awesome.
And Ditko worked there from the 50s all the way up until they, closed their doors in 1985. And actually, one of his books was like one of the last issues to come off the press.
Oh wow.
And there's there's some dated stuff in here, but like there's some really excellent stuff. And they're anthologies, and there's very few like ongoing stories, great monsters. Who else? What's his name? Rich Larson, who did Whisper, got his start at Charlton.
Cool. Very cool.
Bill Reinhold, who did The Punisher and worked on Earth X and all kinds of stuff. He started at Charlton. Before he did The Justice Machine.
Oh god, The Justice Machine.
Does it feel awesome having UH done? I've been doing comics so long that I can't let myself feel awesome until the books show up and they're printed correctly.
Yeah, you need to have it in your hand and verifying everything.
I mean, I'll buy my cigar when the digital ones go out, and then when the baby shows up at the doorstep and it is mostly okay, then I'll celebrate.
We're breaking out the champagne.
Or in our budget, the champagne of beers.
Yes, exactly.
High lifes for everyone.
Tasty.
It's got the tiny bubbles.
Exactly. And that's what makes it awesome.
Ghost Manor, and actually Pat Boyette was an artist too. If you talk to like Phil Hester and even Mike Mignola will say they grew up really enjoying his work, and it was especially the work he did in the '60s. He created the character Peacemaker that is fairly popular now.
Hmm.
They had their Charlton Action line, which they didn't call them superheroes; they called them action heroes, and that
Oh, I
was
remember that. Yeah.
Captain Atom, Blue Beetle, Judo Master, Pete
Like Judo
Cannon,
Master, yeah.
Thunderbolt, and then they had all kinds of other characters like Nightshade and the Sentinels, Fighting Five. They did, Jim Aparo got his start there too.
Oh, okay.
Dick Giordano.
Yeah, I knew Dick Giordano did. So.
But they did they did have the Hanna-Barbera license for a little while, so it's not surprising that the lettering would have that.
Yeah, they
that
did do
look.
some Hanna-Barbera stuff, didn't they?
Fred
Space
Himes
Ghost?
and Ray Durko did the Flintstones and the Jetsons comics.
That was it. Okay.
And I'm trying to remember. I don't remember I think it was Tom DeFalco that wrote some of the Flintstone stuff early on.
I think you're right. I believe he did write some Flintstone stuff.
This is the useless trivia that I remember, not anything that would do right for mankind.
Hey, it's fun. It's more fun to know comics trivia. I like how you set up the eyes on your face. I never really noticed how you did that. You basically draw the big eye, then you kind of figure out where the two actually fit on the face.
Yeah, because it's like an abbreviated skull in my head.
I might have to start doing that.
If I started to, because when I'm really stuck, I'll just draw a skull and then I'll build the meat on top of it. When I'm really stuck, because this is where everything goes, and that also helps you get the cheekbones right.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And then you
I
see.
haven't really thought about it. Yeah, no, that I might start doing that. I mean, I've built the skull if I'm having issues and things, but I've never really thought about doing the eye thing the way you did it. I might have to do that. I like that.
It's worth a try. It's always looking for new ways to do stuff.
Same.
And it also helps me make sure. One of the things that I'm also guilty of when I'm drawing is making the skull too short, the cranium.
Yeah.
So even though I know that the middle of the skull is here, I'll short it because I'll draw the hair and I won't factor in the skull with the hair sometimes, and it'll make it look like the head stops right here.
Yeah, no, I've been guilty of that.
But these are the exercises. Aside from doing life drawing, which is good and important, these are the types of things that get me off my I can't draw anything, I'm terrible, I'll never draw again. I get whiny.
Yeah, no, we don't like it all whiny, Ian. It's just not good.
I get whiny, I get fussy, I gotta take a nap.
I have to do that regularly, so I think I slept about 14 hours today, so
Wow, okay. I hope it's
no,
helped.
a bit longer actually. I think I did about a total of 16.
I hope it helps.
I still feel tired. It's the joys of MS.
See, and I gotta make sure I draw that middle line, and then that way my eyes don't get too high, thus shrinking the cranium.
Oh yeah, no, I have to do the middle line myself all the time.
If I draw the eyes too high, which I'm guilty of a lot, then your cranium gets short, and then it messes with your whole thing. And and the other thing that I tend to mess with when I'm rusty is the proportions, the size of the rib cage to the shoulder blades.
I've messed that up a lot.
That's another thing that I have to practice a lot when I'm just getting back into the swing of things. And I did do one other drawing because as I said, when I started Undersea Hero, there's two people that if they ask me to do anything, I have to say yes, just because they're good friends. And I did do that. And when he posts it, I'll share it because it will be for a published thingy.
Oh, even better.
I have to finish coloring it, but I'll take care of that tomorrow.
That's fair.
Again, I couldn't put it up because it's a published thing and I couldn't work on it. So that's another good thing about self-publishing is that you can stream basically anything you feel like working on. And even though I streamed everything in the book, I don't think everyone saw everything. So I don't know about as far as spoilers go, if there really were any.
Well, I know I haven't seen everything, so I'm looking forward to giving it a read.
Thank you. Hey, Jay Kennedy.
Oh God, Jay's here. We're doomed. I bumped into Jay the other day.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was actually down in my neck of the woods, down in Abington at Battleground.
Oh, hey. Hey, as Jay would say.
Hey, hey, hey.
And then making sure that you don't draw too much of the eye when you've got like kind of a 3/4 view, which I'm, it's easy to do. Make sure the bridge of your nose isn't too high.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll even talk myself through it because like my brain will go faster than my hand, or my hand will go faster than my brain, and something will get crossed up.
I can definitely. I've had that happen.
Because there are some lines that you want when you're doing pen and ink of your hand move. You can only get the quality of line if your hand's moving quickly.
Yep.
If you slow down and make a deliberate line, it's a very different mark making.
It's very true. And rotate the paper.
Yep. And then you got to make sure that your jaw lines up in a way that it makes sense with where your neck muscles are. And I'm not thinking about the design of the character right now. I'm just thinking about the basic stuff.
You're basically just doing shapes right now.
Yeah. It just happens to be in the organization of a face.
Yeah.
And I even will draw like the most generic hair just to be like, okay, that kind of fills that space.
It definitely works.
And you have a face. And then, what I generally do after I start getting shape is I start adding shadow. And how I do that is I will just pick a place to put the light source, and I'll just draw it. I'll just draw an X. So there's our light source, and then I'll draw an arrow. And if you look at like some of my pages, you'll even see that I do these on pages, because what it'll do is it'll just make it so that anytime I need to reference it, it's right there.
Yeah, no, I do something similar when I need to find the light source. I usually put an arrow that just tells me where the light's coming from. And then I will sketch it in that way. Thinking about hands, one of the ways that I draw them I actually learned from Jim Lee. That the hand is a pentagon. It's funny because when he was first talking about it, he said it was a pentagram. And I'm like, no, it's a little different there, Jimmy.
Jim, are you cooler than I thought you were? Michael says he had that happen where either my hand or my mind was moving faster than the other one drawing. Yeah, it's interesting. There's like an equilibrium that you get. I mean, they throw around using the term fugue state or whatever it is, but I think that's just state, like I think that's just overreaching or over. I think that's a little extra, as they say.
Yeah, in a lot of sense it is. But yeah, pentagram hand. And the other thing about it is you can literally draw any shape using pentagram. Now I said it, pentagon.
Yeah, it sounds cooler.
It does sound cooler. I mean, it's
like Nightbot.
Exactly. Nightboat.
That's what we call in the broadcasting business a callback.
Yep. Having worked in the broadcasting business, I can attest.
That's right. You're the only one here that has.
Probably.
I haven't done I've done I've done storyboards and things like that, but I've not worked in broadcast.
I actually worked in TV.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
For quite a while.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was. Best job I ever had. If I could still maintain a day job, I'd do it.
Here's some blocked out shadows based on that light source. Pretty simple. not too much because there's no backlighting or anything, so there's no like rim lighting. It's just a single source. That's a good way to get my brain moving as far as thinking about lighting, because those are
Hmm.
like the stages of the things you got to think about are starting to layer. As you can see with these exercises, it's structure, and then it is lighting, and then after that it'll probably be composition, and then surface. And then when all those drills come together, you can then
You can then
make a
work.
piece. Yeah.
Yep, you can then work.
And usually this, I can do this in a sketchbook, but I'm just doing it on like the cheapest computer paper you can buy.
Yeah, I have a pile of basically printer paper around that I keep the doodles on, and I also do page layouts on them.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Jay says he's got to go. Good to see you, Jay.
Oh, good seeing you, Jay. Have a good one.
All right. So should we do character sketches or a sketch cover? I don't know.
Well, what do you have for sketch covers? Because I could determine.
Yeah, I could. The ones that are right next to my desk, I've got a Hulk. I've got a Red Sonja. I've got a Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, which is weird.
That sounds amazing. I think I got one of those myself.
Yeah. The crossover business has become big business. I've got a Helena cover, got a Vampirella cover, and then Spider Woman.
Spider Woman, interesting.
Yeah.
Good old Jessica Drew.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I'm going to have my first choice, I want to see Helena.
Yeah, I don't mind.
No, you went a little fuzzy there. There you go. You come back in.
Don't mind that at all. Because that's another thing that I do when I'm starting out is I'll just draw characters that I know well. If it's not, a character I've created, I'll draw the Tick or a Ninja Turtle or something that I've drawn a bajillion times, and that's just another way to get that confidence and get moving.
What I found funny is I've started to doodle the Tick more now when I start to do warm-ups.
Oh, nice.
It's just easy to draw.
He's easy to draw in so much is that like I think that once you get the geometry of the head,
Yeah.
like one of the things that all my buddies realized during that Baltimore Tick Fest where they did it for the yearbook is that when you're doing the full figure, there's no hiding any anatomy issues because like there's no stripes, there's no piping. He is just solid blue.
Is this a big blue bomb?
Yeah. So like there's nothing that like I see a lot of people, and rightfully so, they like drawing Spider-Man because he's one of the most popular characters in the world. But that suit, because it has that webbing, can really cover up like those anatomy issues. Same thing with like the heavily armored Batman that everybody draws. Like
the Frank Miller Batman.
Compared to, the Samney Toth like sleek Batman 66 look where it's like, hey, there's less to hide behind. Hey, Desiree's here. Hey, Desiree.
Yay.
I know she's been dealing with some health stuff. I hope she's feeling better today.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Desiree. I commiserate.
And she was very, very helpful in going through the last draft of Undersea Hero and finding at least a dozen things I needed to fix. Whether it was messing up a comma or a hyphenation or something like that. Yep. And because when you see the book, you'll see it's all lettered by hand, so it's not like the computer will underline it when it's spelled wrong. So that's part of the fun.
The fact that you lettered it by hand is just awesome and crazy. Desiree's healing from first cataract surgery. Well, good luck to you on that. I was actually in the hospital a couple of weeks ago. I had a kidney stone, and that was horrifying when you didn't know what it was.
That is not a fun pain.
No, it's not.
If anyone wants to research it, you just have to watch that Seinfeld episode with Kramer at the stadium.
Oh God, yes, that's so true. Oh.
Desiree, did they give you the giant sunglasses that go over the regular glasses?
I have those.
Yeah.
I have those just because my mother had an extra pair of sunglasses and they fit. I only wear them when driving.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like that line.
Oh, she does. She's got the
Yep,
big
big
plastic
glass
one.
we're outside.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Nice.
I'll drink to that. If only it was alcohol.
But they gotta get you back to so you can watch your Dodgers in the World Series.
Mm.
I always appreciate your "Are these my seats?" posts. What I'm going to do for this image is I'm going to try to have a little bit of foreshortening so I can practice that. Again, thinking about different stuff. She's going to be kind of, it's not a full figure because like that's a lot of work to put in for
That's a crap
figuring
load of
stuff
work to
out.
do on sketch covers.
So I'm going to have her like walking through. It's the spooky season, so I'll have her in in a swamp, and then we'll have like a shadowy creature in the swamp behind her or something, and have her hand coming forward so that there's a little bit of movement. Maybe she's like pushing some grass out of the way.
That works. Sounds really good.
Patrick says, "I feel like Orange's White House will look like Las Vegas eventually."
That's probably
It's entirely
a possibility.
Anytime I see him, he's got more of the gilding from Home Depot glued to his wall behind him. So
Yeah, he does. You heard any of the protests this past weekend?
I was working on Undersea Hero, so I missed out on this round. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I generally just don't feel good enough to do any of those things, so
Yeah.
trying to work.
I did see some excellent, wonderfully drawn signs though, so I appreciate the artistry and the craft
I do too.
out in the world.
There was some pretty cool stuff at it. And I gotta hand it to I think it's in Illinois where they dress up in costumes. I think this is hilarious. I get this feeling that's gonna deteriorate into Watchmen though. There we go.
Martha says, "Trying to work along, but my drawing phone is too full." I don't know how you draw on a phone.
Yeah, I can't draw on a phone. I mean, I have
I hope you have like kind of a big phone at least.
Yeah, I mean, I have
Like
a Mobile Studio Pro that was a gift from my dad before he passed away.
Is it more like a tablet?
Yeah, I mean, I have an iPad, and I can't stand trying to draw on that.
So many people I know have actually switched to doing like just their quick layouts that way.
Yeah, I know. What was it? Daniel Warren Johnson does a lot of his layouts on it. He prints them out and basically blows them up type of thing. So
that's what Craig does. Yeah. And then he'll pencil and ink it traditionally.
Yeah. Yeah, the only reason why I'm not doing traditional stuff is because the damn deadlines for manga. Oh, crazy.
I've told the story. Like I remember there was a person I knew. They were recruiting for one of those telephone books, and I had talked to the person who was in the States recruiting, and they were like, "Here's the deal. Here's your quotas. You only get paid this, and you get to live in the house. And if you want more money than that, you're gonna have to get a second job." And I looked at the quotas and I looked at that and I was like, I wasn't going to sleep if it was just this job. So, but my friend who went over there, she was super fast. So like she was able to and she spoke some of the language. So she was like a duck to water, she was able to go over, get a second job. I think she was doing ESL courses.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people do when they go over there. So that's like a big thing.
But that was like her second job after doing like pages and stuff. And I'm trying to remember the magazine she worked for. I don't remember. It wasn't Shonen Jump. It was one of the other telephone book sized ones.
Yeah, there's a few of them out there that are pretty big. Um,
And at first, when you go over there, you work in a studio of someone else, and it's uncredited.
Yep.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, you're basically a helper.
Pat's leaving. Catch you later,
Pat's
Pat.
leaving. See you, Pat. I'll probably see you tomorrow, Pat. What was it? Brain freezing. Yeah, you're an assistant to someone for a bit, and they make sure that you can handle things, and then you go into doing it for real, off your own stuff. I kind of skipped that.
Gotta make sure I get the hip bone. She's kind of like twisting. The legs coming forward.
Yeah, so you gotta have the leg in front, and you gotta have the hip bone turned right with the body shape.
And she doesn't really have like defined abs, but you gotta kind of show where the belly button is and the relation to where the ribs are to make it look like she's twisting.
We still gotta do our crossover with Helena and my Danny character.
We do, yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep noodling the fur on this guy, so I'm gonna move on to the next one. Oh. Actually, I'm gonna add a little bit of tone in. That is not how you spell tones.
And I do have, I think it's like 18 out of like 22 or 23 pages of a Helena story in a drawer. It's like it's in the after Undersea Hero pile.
Well, that'll be good. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I think it'll be one of those where I just post it on my website and then I'll print a handful to have with me at shows, because when I put out my making of Undersea Hero zine, I will talk about my Kickstarter experience, and I don't. If I go back to the platform, I don't know if it would be anything like Undersea Hero. It definitely would not be a situation where like the book isn't done, and I don't want to do I wouldn't want to do big sprawling stretch goals or anything like that. It's literally like just a buy it now kind of thing, like a pre-order page.
That's basically what mine was. I only had one other thing you could buy on my page, and that was a map of the world. That's it.
Yeah.
I had no stretch goals, nothing. The only other piece on there is you could get your cover.
Yeah, and even that, I'm like, I don't know. And it's nice, you sell a big pile of your books, but I don't know. With doing it entirely by myself, it was a lot, and I want to be able to sustain a regular output rather than just the occasional big project.
Well, this book is probably going to be my one and only Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I don't see myself doing any more, especially with the way things seem to be going with this. Well, I'll be blunt with it, with Shonen Jump. So things seem to be looking good.
It's great. Hey.
I mean, they literally want updates on things and stuff, so yeah.
That is good. When they're calling you, that's generally a good sign.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to recruit Americans, so I'm not going to complain.
Nope.
I'm not one to complain. I think I'm going to move that out a little bit. Let's come on, good.
Just try to get the gesture going a little bit and figure out a really simple composition to go with it.
See all the promos I did for my buddy's Kickstarter. One was the making of fan art with the Kickstarter. No, that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. And look, I'm not saying that like it was any different as far as making my books go. There was just some stuff with like when you run a Kickstarter and like if it gets, any pub whatsoever, like all these people descend on you for like, hey, hire us to do your fulfillment, hire us to do this, buy your followers to do this. And like it was this like it was predatory. And
Yeah.
and that's not even to mention the labor situation with Kickstarter right now. I mean, there is a strike going on with some of the creatives there. So like, if you want to research what's going on there, my friend Sam Cusick, who has helped a ton of creators get their books funded, he posted about it on his page, what's going on. So
Yeah, so this is, as I said, probably my one and only Kickstarter. I don't really want to do it again. For one, I'm too afraid of making too much money.
yeah, I know you have a situation with your fixed income and stuff, or with your one of your personal finance things. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
I'm on disability, so
yeah.
that might not be a thing in the near future because the Shonen Jump pays pretty good. So
Hey,
be better than Marvel. That's not saying much, but still.
yeah, and that's a whole nother thing where editors will tell you like, yeah, we expect you to sell your pages, and that's part of what you're supposed to be making. And then I don't know, like I sat down with Walt Simonson many years ago at a convention, and he basically was like, "Look, if you don't sell your work, you're betting on yourself, and you can only sell it once." And I've had to sell a few pieces over the years, like when I've been moving and I've needed to get a moving truck and some other like high expenses. But that's what it was there to do.
Yeah.
And I've kind of hopefully treated that stuff like an annuity, and you're betting on yourself that you're not going to keep making work and that it'll continue to be in demand in the future.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's so many artists that basically, like, you don't hear from them anymore.
Well, and I've met so many people that like, yes, like when you sell it, you're going to get, let's say for a decent, modestly known cover around, and you're not like a big name artist, let's say you make $1,000.
Yeah.
But if you sit on it, like, and I've offered a couple of my covers for sale that I should continue to sit on, like the G.I. Joe cover, which I've pulled off of the website and everything else. Like, those things are going to continue to go up. They just are. And like,
yeah,
I've met
those will go up.
I've met so many artists who just say how much they regret selling the stuff for the quick buck early on. And then there's that period of where between being new and vintage to where it's actually worth less. So like there's a period of, let's say, 2 years in, 3 years in to 10 years in, where maybe it's only $750 or whatever. But then once you cross that threshold into it being like a classic retro period, then it just continues to go up.
Yep. No, it's like if I ever got a Turtles cover, I probably wouldn't sell it for quite a long time.
Yeah. I've only sold one, and it was the one that I didn't pencil. It was the one that I inked over Chris Campana.
Oh, okay.
And I sold it. That was one I sold because that was the moving truck. That was.
Well, that's fair.
And I sold, and it was a blue line. It was inks on blue line, and I obviously labeled it as such when I sold it. And priced it accordingly. It wasn't like I was selling it as like pencils and inks on the same board. And one thing I did start to do, and I did it with my Desiree says didn't know that part of Kickstarter, the labor strike, or the other vendors coming in to be like, hey, give us money and blah blah blah, and we'll handle the finance end. I had one that told me that. I screenshotted that, and I was like, Jesus, if anyone agreed to that, I just
no.
And I wouldn't be surprised, because if you're by yourself and you're looking at this and you're getting messages through the platform, and it's like, oh, well, these must be screen people that know the Kickstarter people or something. Like, there's a credibility that's given by being messaged through the platform even if these are predatory people. And I that would be the one thing I would talk to Kickstarter about, to be like, look, if this, you need to better inform people when it's a vendor that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, because I mean it's spam, and they're very predatory.
Yeah.
'Cause
And
I got a crap load of that stuff, and I'm just like, no, I'll handle it myself, thank you.
and look, there are people who are new to comics, new to business, like, and those are business senses that not a lot of people have developed yet, or some artists never develop. And I don't know, I just think that they could be set up to be preyed upon within that situation. And look, I'm not saying I won't do a Kickstarter in the future, but it would just be organized much differently. Like, the book would be done, everything would be done, and it would be literally like book signed yes or no, and then a sketch. Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, hell,
I
my
did.
book was pretty much done, and I said, fuck it, and I redid the whole thing.
Yeah. Honestly, Desiree, I didn't know about it either. And so many of my friends for so many years had been like, you got to do Kickstarter, you got to do Kickstarter. Like, and they never said, like, 1,000 printers are going to be sending you emails, or, sending stuff through your website or through the platform, and then there were people that I knew that messaged me, and that was fine. Like, a printer that I know is like, hey, let us, give us a shot at quoting it or whatever. Like, oh, that's fine. That's just business is business.
Yeah.
But there were some that were just like really just kind of scummy. I mean, that's
Oh yeah,
and
there's a lot of scum.
I don't blame Kickstarter for the vendors' actions, but I would like the platform to find a way to disseminate between, messaging that is from people that they have screened or not, as potential support for your campaign, because they have, like, oh, we'll promote you ones. There's ones that are, like I said, print production, fulfillment, like every element of a Kickstarter campaign. There is somebody trying to take some of your money away for that.
Yep.
And there's not, and in comics, let's be honest, like,
No,
there's not that much money in it. And I, for my book, like, I think I charged for the early bird like 15 or $20, something like that. It's 72 pages, and sometimes you're paying that much for a 24-page comic on Kickstarter. Like, I've paid $20 for a 24-page comic on Kickstarter
There's
before.
plenty of people who do that much because they're paying themselves, the inker, the colorist, the letterer.
Yeah. So I don't know. I love how my friend Mike Vosberg goes about his business, and like, that's, to me, that's the model for what I would like to do. Is he posts it on his website for free, and then he will announce that he's going to print, and if anybody wants one, you can pre-order one. And then if nobody orders any, he just prints as many as he feels like selling, like at his LCS and at local shows.
That's kind of,
And that's how I used to do it.
Yeah.
That was my this project way of doing it. So
yeah, no, that kind of makes sense. I mean, I kind of want to put like this out on the web at some point, and have people so they can read it too. But I just don't want to do it on my own webpage anymore.
yeah. Well, I think especially with that, like, and if you're going the direction you're talking about,
Mhm.
like, if you build up of enough pages, Webtoons all the way.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
there is let's just talk about Shonen Jump again. They have a web form that anybody can publish on.
I didn't know that.
Yep, it's was it Manga Plus? And you can do it either in like the webtoon format, or you can do it in basically a manga format.
That's very cool. I didn't know that.
And they also, if they like your work, they will hire you right to the webpage.
Oh, I lost. Oh,
I'm sorry, what?
oh no, my internet cocked out for a second.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got a message from my buddy Mitch, so I just had to look at it real quick.
Hi, Mitch.
It's one of the people I hang out with on Sunday mornings.
Sunday mornings. Are there cartoons involved?
Yep. We
Excellent.
call it the Sunday Funnies.
Martha's asked, would Manga Plus take my stuff? If it's open to the public, then sure.
Manga Plus will take anything.
Yeah.
All you have to do is go on and publish it, like right through them. And as I said, you keep all your rights, everything. They don't want anything.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
if they like it, they'll approach you. And they actually pay a pretty good amount. So like they have monthly contests. They literally will pay people out of the monthly contest to put stuff into their books.
That sounds like it's up your alley, Martha's. You do the contest thing. You like those drawing exercises like that?
So I definitely will promote them. I mean, technically, I'm working more with Viz, which is the American version of Shonen Jump, but you know, my editor's in Japan, so I do have an editor in California, I think, too, but I don't speak to them that much.
Well, I really do hope that that all comes to fruition. That sounds very exciting.
Yeah, I really want it. So, like, damn, I really hope it goes through.
Yeah.
Plus, I want to basically be like, oh, Marvel didn't hire me because I'm too manga. Well, screw you.
Oh, then go do manga.
Yep.
Although, like even though you have the manga stuff, I don't think you'd ever be able to get all the American comics out of your stuff.
Oh hell no! I never even really considered myself manga until I basically until actually fairly recently. Like in the past 5 years or so, people were just like, "Oh, you're very manga," and I'm like, "Am I?" I'm like, I kind of got some Joe Mad in me. So
I mean, back to even when we first met, like you would kind of like sometimes you'd lean into it, sometimes you wouldn't.
that's true.
And whether it was like the Joe Mad or the like, sometimes with the big boots, it got a little bit of Ramosy.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's
the
also this is also my love of like classic whatchamacallit, like comic strips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sunday's Funny by that burner accounts. I'd be glad to send them my books too. I can ask them. Hell, I can just share it to them because they sent it to me. So, but yeah, no, I've definitely. You've definitely seen like a lot of my different ways I can do art. I mean, hell, I can do a pretty good aping of Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah. When you go into the genre, the horror-y genre for sure. Like I think that I think the rendering can go that way. I mean, as far as like the style goes,
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest shift that you probably make as far as when I see your stuff is how you choose to render, not necessarily the structure.
No, my structure's pretty much always the same.
Yeah. You know, when I used to like do kind of like drawing lesson-y type things instead of just this informal chatty stuff, like I would talk, structure and surface. Like those were the two ways to break down of like learning how to do artwork.
Mhm.
And that would be like the two areas where it's like, okay, we're going to start with nothing but structure. Don't worry about the rendering or the shading or the shadows. We're doing just tubes and everything.
Mhm.
And then, the following week it would be, okay, we're going to take one of those drawings that you've hopefully forgot, because you can get too invested in your own drawing, like you forget, you don't even like get nose blind to seeing where you did stuff incorrectly. So you got to put it away for a little bit.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
And then you pull it out a couple weeks later, and then you're like, okay, now we're gonna light it, and we're gonna texture it and fix things. And it just takes those extra clear eyes to really get you to do it.
Yeah, like I'm adding in some quick tones here, but this isn't the finished render. This is just me getting an idea of things.
Yeah, and you're getting your light source, and you're getting that kind of stuff. Like, and with the Zipatone, it's a really I assume you're putting it on a separate layer. Like it's just a really easy way to get the flow of the page also when you put the light in and then you pull back and you can see like, oh, like is this lighting drawing me away from the line of action or where the lettering's going to go or all that stuff.
Yep. And then I'll change it up later and things. I'll add in more blacks because
Yeah.
I like my blacks. I mean, hell, I do it. I do entire silhouette fight scenes. When in doubt, cheat.
I did a few silhouettes in Undersea Hero. I didn't do too many. There's just a couple where it's like the character's silhouette is so funny looking that I was just like, oh yeah, we gotta just have that as the panel.
Yes.
certain shrimp character has the silhouette, and
this is I'll back this out, but this is my splash page that I have in it.
oh, very cool. Can you zoom in kind of like the upper middle panel? That one that's like just to the right there.
This one?
Oh yeah. Good use. You see how Allison used the door and the windows to frame that character? That's just good stuff.
Yeah, it took a lot of practice to figure this stuff out. And some of it's dumb luck too, so
And the bar draws your eye back and it just it reinforces the composition. Like that's not easy stuff. Drawing people in like a bar setting, saloon, like if I look back at some of my early stuff, I definitely butchered the placement of the feet on the plane, and all the heads are on the same, like the right levels going in off into the distance. It's a hard thing to do.
that's a pain in the ass. Yeah. And then I did it over here. I actually have an additional border around the bartender, and he's kind of pointing over to here because he's talking about looking for her. And I just kind of put that. And I'm thinking about adding like a white outline to it just to pop it a little bit more.
Yeah. Because you got those shadows, and then you have the Desiree. You did hear Zipatone. We are a Zipatone positive.
Yes, we are definitely a Zipatone positive group.
Yeah, can you zoom in on that panel where you're talking about framing underneath that speech balloon? Yeah.
Right there. Oh. And I have the was it? And the way I have this, I have my my quasi duotone with my shading for this.
Yeah, for people that don't know, duotone board was a type of drawing board that was used mostly by cartoonists, but also by other illustrators that had a couple of chemicals you'd throw on it, and it would give you different tones. So it was highly toxic, but it was very popular, and
it's very cool.
It's got a cool look, and all the early like Ninja Turtles books were drawn on it. American Flag, the early years was drawn on like a different brand of it, and it had a different texture to it. It was like a stippling almost.
Yes, it did. I remember that. That was cool. Yeah, the frame within a frame. So what I'm thinking about doing is hit this with the selection. Then go into white. Edit. Let's do a outline. Do that. I think I gotta get it a hair bigger. There we go. Yeah, I think that pops it a little bit better. There's literally like a white border around it.
Yeah. So. And rim lighting is another thing that I think people overdo it on, and I think that we grew up in an era where like adding that little pop along the edge of stuff was, and it was even done outside of a figure. Like if they drew a figure, they would even go in with the whiteout like right along here, along the edge of the figure, and give it just like this glow almost. And it was just, the image guys used it a lot, and you know, I think one of the guys that used it the best was actually Mark Texeira.
He did do it pretty good because he knew how to blend it.
Yes, yes, and he didn't overdo it. Like he would use it very effectively in like his Ghost Rider stuff.
Yeah, and that was a horror book. I mean, you can completely ruin it with that, and he
Yeah.
pulled it off. I mean, the person who got me out of using rim light is actually Frank Miller. He doesn't use a lot of it with his Daredevil and stuff like that. He didn't really use
No,
it.
and he
Yeah.
used a ton of single source lighting.
Yes, he did. And Frank Miller, if you really look at my stuff, you can see there's a lot of Frank Miller in me.
Especially in your panel to panel,
Mm.
I would say.
Yeah, I'm definitely a Frank Miller junkie when it comes to that. I mean, I keep actually of books I keep on hand that are like right next to me at almost all times. I literally have a copy of Ronin.
Okay, yeah. And if you're a Frank Miller person, he would say he's a Will Eisner person. So it's just
Yeah.
like another layer of that
Hmm.
inspiration.
And I'm definitely influenced by Will Eisner too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's actually an interesting book that I think Dark Horse put it out, like the early 2000s, where Frank Miller interviewed Will Eisner.
I remember that book.
It was just called Eisner Miller. And I don't know if it's like, impossible to find, but if you want to listen to, two people who, especially at that time, were just giants.
Mm.
Um, and Will was still at probably the height of his powers for like doing his wash and pencil technique that he evolved to later in his career.
I love that technique.
Yeah, he even used it in that issue of The Escapists with Michael Chabon that he did. That's another one of those, like, if you're hunting through dollar boxes and you see any of the Escapist, which is a comic that was based off a character from a book called Cavalier and Clay that won the Pulitzer Prize.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Michael says he's got 7 pages to go on his coloring, and then he's going to look over the pages and touch it up and do a cover and back cover and done. That's awesome.
Fantastic. Michael's a machine when it comes to putting out books.
He is.
He's
Yeah.
just crazy.
He says he has the Eisner Miller book. Nice.
That's very cool. Yeah, and the Frank Miller autobiography. Yeah, I have it I backed it, so I'm waiting for it to come in. Yeah, it's like it's Frank Miller American something.
I saw that it was happening, but I didn't do a deep dive in it. Is it actually going to be like talking about like when he worked at Continuity and stuff, or is it really just about like I was the man doing Daredevil and then forward?
No, he's going to be talking about continuity. He's actually, I believe, he's going to go into more like detail with Ronin. He had a recent
cool.
interview where he was actually talking about Ronin. Now he's just like, and nobody liked it.
I think it had a greater impact on creators because, like, especially like if you look at like the homages that showed up in books, like the one in X-Force and
I was going
stuff.
to mention the X-Force one.
Yeah.
When Shatterstar basically rams the sword through him.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that
Martha
was
says
right out.
Ronin was my favorite of his too.
Yeah, Ronin's my favorite. I mean, I like all of his stuff up until about I think it was Hell and Back is the last real Sin City story. And I wasn't really into his Dark Knight Strikes Again and stuff. I just didn't really. Dark Knight Returns I love, but just not really into it going after that.
I know I'm in the minority. I did not hate Dark Knight 3, the one that Andy Kubert drew. I thought that was actually okay.
Oh, I didn't hate that either. I meant more of just like his art and stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, I wasn't really into Strikes Again.
Out of his newer stuff, I actually liked that Uncle Scrooge cover. I won't lie. I
thought that was kind of fun.
I like that Uncle Scrooge cover. And there's a couple of hidden gems of his that I like to bring up. His first book he did was actually in an issue of the Twilight Zone. So if you're ever looking in dollar bins, that's one thing to look out for because people just put the whole chunk in there.
And they don't realize it's Frank Miller's first published work for like Gold Key or something like that.
Yep, it was a Gold Key. And then a couple of his early Marvel works were actually inventory issues. One of them was John Carter, and then the other one was a Captain Marvel story that got published in Marvel Spotlight. And the one that's in Marvel Spotlight, I actually think is really good. And if you look at it, you'll see the beginnings of what his influences were that he would go on and use in 300 in the statues in the alien planet and stuff. Like it looks like what's his name, the Leonidas.
Yeah, it does kind of. God, I wasn't really thinking that, but yeah, you're absolutely right. And a lot of people don't realize the first time he drew Daredevil was actually in Spider-Man.
Yeah, what was it? Was I don't remember the
It was
issue
an
number.
annual.
I thought it was in Spectacular
No,
Spider-Man.
it was a spectacular. He did like 2 issues of Spectacular.
Yeah,
One of them has an amazing cover with the like just Doc Ock's tentacle arms going around. And he's like holding the newspaper of the Daily Bugle with Spider-Man fighting.
that was one of the annuals. That was really
Yeah.
good. Yeah. That was,
Then he
and
did
then
the other one that had Daredevil in it.
there was the Daredevil two-parter they republished later as like a one-shot.
Mhm.
That was how I didn't actually have the original issues. I just had that. In the 80s, they started doing like what were they called? They were like prestige versions where they kind of did painted colors. Steve Olive would do painted
Oh
colors.
yeah, I had a few of those.
They did Moon Knight. They did some of the Neil Adams stuff.
Mhm.
I think they even called it Classic X-Men.
Yeah, it was like a classic X-Men type of thing, and it had his like first appearance of Havoc, and I can't remember if he did the first appearance of Polaris. I know Steranko did the cover.
No, Steranko did the
He did the
interiors,
interior
and it
thing.
was inked by Tartaglione. And
Yeah, that tracks.
yeah, and I know that Mr. Steranko was not a big fan of those inks, but
No,
I've looked at them like recently,
I
and
don't mind them.
they're just average of the time.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like they had
Vince Coletta.
yeah, they didn't have Vinny doing it, but the guys like Tom Palmer hadn't come on the scene yet.
Right.
So like Giordano was at Charlton at the time. So like the guys that would become like the status quo inkers of the late silver and bronze age. I mean, I think the best inker that probably worked with him was when Senna inked his Captain America stuff.
Oh God, yeah. No, I completely agree with that.
Because he
Yeah,
was like the slick line guy of the time, and like eventually that baton got passed to like Giordano and then Terry Austin, and
Terry
like
Austin took it and ran.
he did, yeah.
Uh,
But he was Giordano's assistant first, and it's funny like when you look at the early Terry Austin stuff, it was all tons and tons of rapidograph and Croquill, and like you could see some of the Giordano isms in it, the
yes.
early stuff, yeah.
Was it Oh yeah, Mike said that his book coming out, Push the Wall: My Life Writing, Drawing, and the Art of Storytelling. Yeah, he was talking about that in the interview too. Now, Miller is an interesting person. He definitely had his wacky moments.
Oh, and there were plenty of stories of his that I was not interested in. Like I was not interested in Holy Terror and things like that. But I think by and large, I he's had health issues. He's had all kinds of stuff. Like
Yeah.
he's a Hall of Famer, and he can basically just do whatever he wants at this point.
Exactly. I mean, I read Holy Terror, and I only read it because I'm a Frank Miller fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't. It's definitely not his best work.
And I'll admit, I only bought a few issues of that, like the Millerverse comics that came out. Like they did do a new Ronin story, and
I have all of the Ronin ones.
Yeah, I only read a few issues of that stuff that came out. Like they got some wonderful artists to work on the books.
They did. I mean, I enjoyed the Ronin story.
Was that Philip Tan that drew that one? Yeah,
it was, and he really sold it. I like his art, and also the Miller did some breakdowns and stuff in it that were kind of cool.
Oh yeah, okay. I think they did if it wasn't a free issue comic book day, I think they did like a preview issue. I know I picked that up, so I probably
they did
saw some of that.
Yeah, I got that too. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan of his Ronin. I thought that was good. I mean, hell, I have the actual issues of Ronin also like sitting right next to me. I also have the Dark Knight stuff sitting next to me too. But... But yeah, I definitely have Miller-isms in my art. Actually, my friend Curtis once said that looking at my art was like looking at Phil Foglio meets Frank Miller.
Phil Folio. Yeah.
Yeah, Phil Foglio, meeting Frank Miller.
Foglio. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
don't know how you pronounce
I don't know. Foglio, I think he has a G in there. I
know
should
that-
know because I've hung out with him at cons, but
I know he did. He had one of those gigs that would be like one of the few DC gigs that I would be like, yes, I would do that. And it was when he did Angel and the Ape back in the 80s.
oh yes, he did. And that was good. That was so funny. I forgot about that book. That's worthy dollar bin find if you can get it.
Oh, totally. And the original series was just like, you had Wally Wood, Sergio Aragonés. It was a very silly comic, and one issue is like super racist, but
True.
it was well crafted.
Yeah, that's very true. I forgot about that issue.
Yeah, there's one issue in there. It's like,
yeah. Guys.
I know you guys are all World War II vets, but
yeah, I mean, it was racist for the time it came out.
That's right. Yeah,
something.
Even at the time, they were like, "This could be bad."
Yeah.
Well,
that's way too thick. So one thing I do like about being able to work digitally with inks, I can undo.
that's true.
I have to say though, I much prefer drawing traditionally. I prefer having pencil to paper and all that. So
That would be the way to put it, Dolomane. It was a well-made comic book that should be forgotten.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
I'm perfectly okay with them never reprinting that.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can find it in the wild, it's definitely kind of an interesting find, but yeah, don't pay any money for it.
Yeah.
It's a good dollar bin find. That's about it.
But the issues that Sergio wrote were mostly about Sam Simeon, who's the ape character. He's a cartoonist, and it's like him dealing with like amalgamations of actual creators that are like the villainy characters, and Angel O'Day is his secretary / like partner in crime when they decide to at night go private detecting.
Yeah, private detecting probably the best way of putting it.
And then Angel's redemption was actually in a book that came out much later, because she was definitely a stereotypical character of the time, but she had like her clever moments, and it was in Showcase issue 100 that was drawn by Joe Staton, and I think Paul Kupperberg wrote it, where and it has every character that ever showed up in Showcase in it. And spoiler alert, it's a book that's like 50 years old. I don't care. Yep. So I'm just going to tell you what happens is that Angel's the one that saves the day. And it's the least likely character. You got Aquaman, you got the Atom, you've got Wonder Woman, you've got all these like super powerful characters.
You have the Flash was in it.
Yep.
You had Green Lantern. Hal Jordan. You had tons of characters in it. Yep. Literally anybody who appeared in a Showcase was in it.
So all Viking Prince I think showed up in it. It was everyone. And she's the one that saves the day.
Wait for 1 sec.
But yeah, I mean Showcase was an interesting book because they rebooted it a couple of times, and they would always introduce new characters, but sometimes that would be their only appearance. There was a Manhunter that showed up and was like he did like a 2-parter. Nightmaster, which was a cool fantasy character that was drawn by Bernie Wrightson in an issue. And then, God, what's the guy's name? worked for Eisner that drew the other issue. Jerry Grandinetti, who is a phenomenal artist that not a lot of people know. Honestly, it's just because like I've read it multiple times. Probably that's you know, and it's a different thing reading a new comic as it comes out because sometimes I will forget it. I'm right there with you where be it the time I read it or what I was feeling at the time or whatever. Also, that issue 100 is memorable because it is such a large. It's almost like an annual sized issue, and it's almost like a giant crossover all in one issue. So, like there was a lot happening in that issue. And I remember the artist because I really like Joe Staton's artwork. I think that when his mature style happened, he was exciting when he was young in the 70s doing, we might even have some like sitting right here probably, if I have any E-Man or whatever. But his style matured at First Comics when he was the art director. And then he did like tons of Scooby-Doo books and everything else. But like when his stuff matured, I just really loved it. And it was cartoony, but he could go back and forth with series. He did a run on Green Lantern with Guy Gardner that's been reprinted, and Joe Staton, I think he was the co-creator of the modern version of Guy Gardner.
Yeah, I'm really liking that.
So, but yeah, Joe Staton being the artist on it was one of the reasons I found it interesting, and it was a book I'd looked for. And I also have like one of those strange attachments. Maybe you have this too, Allison. When there's a book you've been looking for a long time, and then it shows up one day in the dollar bin, it's like the best. So,
I'm not sure if I can hear you, Ian.
Hello? Hello? Did we lose our sound? So, let's see. Hello? Mine says it has it says it has sound. I don't know.
We frozen?
I'm not frozen. It's just I think that your sound is missing.
I can't hear you.
So.
Okay, so Mike can hear. All right. Right then.
Oh, okay. So Mike can hear me. So I think it's Allison's.
How about now? Can people hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know if that helps. But.
Okay, that looks like
Martha says they can hear us both, but we can't hear each other. It's weird. I mean, I can hear her.
Okay, so Mike, you can hear both of us, but I can't hear Ian. Not sure if he can hear me.
I can.
You showed up to say goodnight. Okay then.
I guess we'll. Since Allison can't hear me, we'll call it a night.
Why is there a bounding box selected on this?
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming to hang out, and I really appreciate Allison hanging out with us today. And sorry we had some sound issues at the end. And thanks everybody. I hope you have
You can hear me.
Good rest of the week.
Oh, thank you, Brian.
And I hope to.
Yeah, I just can't hear Ian for some odd reason.
Have a good weekend. So thanks everybody. I'll catch you later. Have a good night.